You've already lived that moment of brutal clarity, like when you step on a scale and the number paralyzes you, or when you realize you've been in the same mediocre job for 5 years making the same complaints, or when your kid asks you to play and you say, "Not now," for the 100th time because you're glued to your phone watching strangers' lives. That second when you see, from outside, what you've become, and you promise, "That's it. Starting tomorrow, I change." You even feel a fire, real determination. You go to sleep convinced. You wake up, and 3 hours later you're doing the exact same shit as always. The promise evaporates as if it never existed, and the worst part isn't failing once. It's the pattern. You've lost count of how many Mondays you've restarted, how many new notebooks you bought and abandoned on the 3rd page, how many gyms you paid for without setting foot there. And each one of these cycles steals something from you, not just time, but confidence in yourself, until only one certainty remains: I can't. I don't have what it takes. Maybe I'm just like this. And it's exactly there, when you accept defeat as identity, that your life truly ends. I'm a Templar who held a crumbling wall in Acre, May 1291, while Christendom in the East died in fire and screams. Men braver than me fled, stronger ones collapsed. I stayed, not out of heroism, out of technique. 5 specific practices that can be replicated by anyone. Today, now, in the next hour, you want to quit. Stay until the end, and I'll show you the principle that decides everything. What separates the person who promises from the person who does. I'll start with the day my body refused to obey. I entered the Order of the Temple at 22 because I was becoming someone I despised. Without purpose, without structure, full of potential and zero realization. I took 3 vows: poverty, chastity, obedience. Obedience destroyed my ego. My opinion ceased to matter. I learned to fight with sword, lance, dagger, heater shield. I wore chainmail that weighed 45 pounds. Monastic routine, prayer before dawn, training until the body screamed, work, silence. It seemed hard until April 1291, when Sultan al-Ashraf Khalil besieged Acre with an army that made the earth tremble. Guillaume de Beaujeu, our Grand Master, commanded the defense. I went to the accursed tower, sector under heaviest bombardment. There I learned that convent discipline is theater. Real discipline only appears when you're broken and still need to function. I found 5 practices. I'll give you all of them now. Practice 1, the 10-minute pact. How to start when every cell screams, no. 2nd week of siege, 3 a.m., shift on the wall, 4 nights, sleeping less than 2 hours. My body froze. I stayed lying on the stone cot, staring at the ceiling, and my brain started the show. You're sick. Another can cover. 1 hour won't matter. All lies. I just didn't want to get up. The chainmail was on the floor, 45 pounds of accusation. Then I remembered the novice master. Never negotiate the whole day with laziness. It always wins. Negotiate 10 minutes. I made the deal. Get up, put on the mail, climb the stairs. 10 minutes. If impossible after that, I come down and accept punishment. I counted to 10. Got up. The mail weighed the same as always. I climbed. 10 minutes turned into 6 hours of complete shift. Use today. Tomorrow morning, when the alarm goes off and your brain negotiates, just 5 more minutes. I'm too tired. Don't promise the whole day. Promise 10 minutes. I'll get up, wash my face, put on workout clothes. 10 minutes. Your brain accepts it because it seems manageable. But here's the trick. Starting is 90% of the battle. Once in motion, inertia works in your favor. And even if you stop at 10 minutes, you won. Because you kept the agreement. Each tiny promise kept rebuilds confidence in yourself, brick by brick. Practice 2. The 3-cycle rule, how to shut down panic in 20 seconds. 10th day. Trebuchet stone hit the Merlin 3 paces from me. Explosion was brutal. A fragment cut a brother's face. 2 Genoese militia ran down, screaming the tower would collapse. Panic spreads through the gaze. My legs wanted to run. Heart racing, hands sweating. My brain screamed, "Go! You're going to die." Then I applied what I'd trained, 3 breathing cycles, 4 counts each. Inhale through nose, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 4. Exhale through mouth 4, hold empty 4, 3 times, 20 seconds total. My heart slowed, legs stopped shaking. I looked around with clarity. Tower was cracked, but standing. The wounded brother wiped blood and stayed. I stayed. Tower held 2 more days. Use today. Your boss calls you in and you know it's bad. Test results arrived. Spouse says, "We need to talk," in that tone. Your body triggers, heart races, thoughts scramble. At that exact moment, 3 cycles, 4, 4, 4, 4. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Don't skip. 20 seconds. It's not mystical meditation, it's physiological shutdown of panic response. Controlled breathing activates the parasympathetic system and turns off the alarm. After 20 seconds, you may still be in a bad situation, but you decide the response, not the fear. Practice now. 3 complete cycles. Practice 3. Literal obedience. The rule that taught me good intention kills St. Anthony's Gate. 16th day. My order was clear. Keep the passage clear for evacuating wounded to the infirmary. Then civilians tried to pass going into the combat zone. Women looking for children. One knelt before me, crying, begging. My heart tightened. I thought, 3 people. What harm? I let them pass. 3 became 30. 15 minutes later, the passage was blocked by a panicking crowd. Wounded waited on stretchers, bleeding. A brother died waiting, hemorrhage that could have been contained. He died because I wanted to be human instead of functional. I confessed to the chaplain. He said, "You served your heart and betrayed your function. Compassion without order is cruelty with a delay. Use today, you have a budget. Friend asks to borrow money just this once. You're on a diet. Someone offers cake. It's a birthday. You agreed with your son. 1 hour of screen time. He begs just 1 more episode. You want to be understanding, and you give in. Wrong. Rules exist because someone already paid the price of the exception. At work, skip the backup just today becomes the day the system collapses. At home, just 1 more episode becomes the child who respects no limits. On diet, just this piece becomes the lost month. Be inflexible with principles. When you want to give in, ask, "Am I doing what's right or what's comfortable right now?" Practice 4. The 1-step square. How to maintain sanity when everything collapses mid-May. Outer walls giving way. 40 hours straight alternating combat and repairs. No real sleep. Deep exhaustion does strange things. World becomes liquid. You see movement that doesn't exist. Hear voices no one spoke. I saw a brother laughing alone, staring at nothing. 2 men dragged him away. I felt the same pressure rising. Then I remembered, when you can't control the environment, control the square of 1 step around you. I chose 3 tiny tasks. Keep dagger clean and sharp. Check shield straps. Pray 1, Our Father at each shift, change. Just 3 anchors that said, you still govern something. I reached the 3rd day exhausted to the bone, but mentally intact. Use today. You're in crisis. Massive project behind, debt growing, relationship imploding. You don't control the situation. Every attempt to control makes you more anxious. Stop trying to control the uncontrollable. Instead, choose 3 microscopic rituals that depend only on you. Make the bed when you wake up. Drink half a gallon of water. Write 3 sentences in a journal before sleeping. When the world is chaos, these anchors tell your mind, there's still order. You still command something. Discipline isn't built in grand, heroic gestures. It's built in trivial acts you repeat even when you feel no desire whatsoever. Practice 5. The next visible step. How to move mountains 1 inch at a time. Last days. Temple fortress. Last redoubt. Isolated. No communication with command. Guillaume de Beaujeu dead. 12 men on the same floor. A young brother crying, "It's useless. We should surrender." Another shouting, "Surrender is dishonor." We go out killing. I had no better answer. I saw no way out. So I stopped looking at the impossible outcome and asked only, what's the next obvious step? Not, how do we win? Just, next step. Check if there are wounded below. I went down. There were 3. We brought them up. Next step, ration remaining water. We did. Next, reinforce door with beams. We did. I didn't think about resist to the end, goal too big to hold. I thought about the step ahead, just the next one. We held out 1 more day. A Pisan ship risked coming close. We evacuated. All alive. Use today. You look at the mountaintop and quit before taking the first step. 100 pounds to lose, 5 years of debt, 6-month project. The scale paralyzes you. Stop looking at the top. Look only at the next step. Question, what's the next obvious step I can take today? Not the complete plan. The next step. 1. Today. For debt. Call 1 creditor and negotiate. 1. For weight. Replace soda with water today. 1. For the project, write 1 paragraph. 1. Tomorrow you ask again, and again. You don't need to see the entire road. You need to see the next step and take it. Discipline isn't carrying the mountain. It's taking the next step even without seeing the end. Now, the principle. Acre fell May 28, 1291. The temple fortress collapsed on the last defenders. I was on one of the last boats, watching the city in flames. Days later, anchored in Cyprus, I understood what all these practices had in common. It wasn't courage, it wasn't strength. It was a repeated choice, placing a fixed principle above the impulse of the moment. Fear screamed, "Flee." I breathed 3 cycles and stayed. Body screamed, "Quit." I negotiated 10 minutes. Heart screamed, "Be flexible." I obeyed the literal rule. Chaos screamed, "Control everything." I controlled my square. Exhaustion screamed, "Stop." I took the next visible step. Each time I consciously chose to respond to what was right to do instead of what screamed loudest. The question that decides everything is this: what's the right thing to do now? Not what's easy, not what's comfortable, what's right. And then you obey the answer even when no one's watching, even when there's no immediate reward, even when your body protests and your mind invents brilliant justifications. You will fail. I failed. I let civilians pass, and a brother died. The difference isn't never falling. It's getting up, looking at the damage, repairing what can be repaired, and taking the next right step. Discipline is obeying what's right even when no one sees, even when it hurts, even when it seems to make no difference at all. Everything else, breathing, 10 minutes, rituals, next step, is just a tool to keep that obedience alive when everything collapses. Use today. Choose 1 practice, 10 minutes, 1 step, now.